This is CBS News Chicago.
Now at 6, more than 100 people shot in Chicago over the holiday weekend, while extra officers were on duty here. Now, city leaders take a hard look at whether NASCAR Chicago street race weekend should be moved.
He was here every
And rescues in Texas as a hurricane makes landfall. How we'll feel Beryl's wrath hundreds of miles away. Great to have you with us. I'm Joe Dolon.
And I'm Irika Sargent. Chicago is in the national spotlight after this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Chicago street race roared down a wet DuSable Lakeshore Drive.
At the same time, the city made headlines after 109 people were shot. We have team coverage of the violent weekend. Let's start with Megan Hickey. And Megan, critics are asking whether the city needs to pick a new weekend for this race.
Right, Joe and Irika. Right, Joe and Irika. The question is whether police resources were stretched too thin between security at the massive NASCAR event downtown and the 74 shooting incidents between Wednesday morning and midnight last night. While rain interrupted the NASCAR Chicago street race 2 years in a row, it still brought huge crowds downtown this 4th of July weekend. The same weekend that 109 people were shot across the city, leaving 19 people dead. And this year wasn't a fluke. It's been a historically violent stretch.
Obviously, those were dates that we inherited. We will continue to assess.
Mayor Brandon Johnson was quick to respond that they're looking at the dates and how they'll work for residents on overtime, working 19,984 hours. Meanwhile, for the 4th of July duty overall, 518 officers were staffed for 5,325 overtime hours for the 4th of July deployment. About 11% of sworn personnel worked NASCAR in 2023, and 226 of the 1,233 officers were pulled from neighborhood districts to staff it.
We looked at a number of officers who were detailed to that particular event.
Superintendent Snelling said this year they scaled down, but we don't know to what degree.
We recognized that we had a level of security around that event where we didn't need as many officers, so we were able to scale that down this year.
And there's still a question of whether the race will continue to make financial sense for the city, particularly during upticks in summer.
Again, that will be assessed and analyzed.
And the CBS News data team also found that this past Friday, July 5th, was the single most violent day in Chicago history since the unrest in Chicago after the death of George Floyd. In the newsroom, Megan Hickey, CBS News Chicago.
Chicago police aren't the only ones who respond to shootings.
Our Sade Gray spoke to an organization that helps victims of gun violence and tries to de-escalate when things turn violent.
We don't want to hear about one person being shot, but we know realistically what goes on in our communities.
A reality we're all too familiar with, shootings throughout the city.
To wake up and see 100 plus people shot since the 4th of July weekend, it's heartbreaking because we got to think about the trauma that goes along. Even though I was shot when I was 21, I was actually paralyzed from the neck down. I'm still paralyzed from the knee down to this day. But it doesn't stop me from waking up every day and doing the work.
Little is an outreach leader at CRED. CRED stands for Create Real Economic Destiny. It was founded by former Chicago Public Schools head Arnie Duncan. The group responded to shootings similar to this one on Saturday. A man and a woman who were shot in the South Loop. It happened in the 100 block of East 21st Street. They were walking on a sidewalk when an SUV approached them and someone inside fired shots toward them. The 26-year-old man was taken to Northwestern Hospital where he later died. The woman was listed in good condition.
We did a lot of shooting responses. We did a lot of cross collaboration. We were on the phone from every shooting that happened, no matter the time. We're making the calls to make sure there's someone at the hospital.
Little says recently they changed their hours from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. to midnight so they can respond to shootings throughout the night. Reporting at police headquarters, Sade Gray, CBS News, Chicago.
Beryl may now be a tropical storm, but it is still packing a punch. When it made landfall in Houston, it was a Category 1 hurricane.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Albert Ramon. Albert?
So it's a tropical storm right now. It's in northeastern Texas. It's going to weaken later tonight to a tropical depression, and the moisture associated with the Beryl is headed our direction. We're going to start to feel some of that moisture come in as we head into tomorrow morning for the south suburbs, but it'll be tomorrow afternoon that rain chances start to pick up here in Chicago. Overall, the best chance of heavy rainfall for really the entire area, it's going to be tomorrow night into early Wednesday. We're talking about multiple inches of rain possible, but not for everyone. Best chance of multiple inches is going to be down here towards the south of Chicago into northwest Indiana and also the Kankakee River Valley. There's actually some rain on the radar right now. We'll zoom in on First Alert Doppler radar and talk about some hot, humid conditions, the extended forecast coming up.
We'll see you then, Albert. Thank you. Family and friends of a missing Chicago pastor are pleading for his safe return. Reverend Warren Beard went to visit a friend in Joliet last Tuesday and never returned home. Over the weekend, volunteers fanned out across the area where he was last seen but found no clues. He serves as an assistant pastor at New Israelite Missionary Baptist Church on the south side. The church's senior pastor says Beard was in good spirits during their last conversation the same day he disappeared.
He was jovial, he was happy, joking as usual, and the phone call ended with, as we always ended, I love you, and he said, I love you too.
So far, there are no signs of Beard's car and no activity on his credit cards.
Right now, life is slowly returning to normal downtown post-NASCAR. Streets are reopening in phases. Michigan Avenue is fully open, and DuSable Lakeshore Drive is set to be back open by tomorrow night. Some streets will be closed until July 18th.
You may have noticed a different look for this newscast. We're coming to you from a new location.
Studio A at the CBS News Chicago Broadcast Center. And here is a live look from outside. Yes, outside. See in, so can you. And it took a lot of hard work to get to this point. Up until a couple of hours ago, crews were busy fixing and tweaking and perfecting this state-of-the-art studio. It's the perfect backdrop to tell stories about Chicagoans that you need to hear.
And this is a busy intersection, a busy place, and we're bringing it back to life. It was shuttered, it was closed, our monitor, our big sign out front was broken, and slowly but surely we've taken the last couple of years to bring us back to life, to say we're here, we're a part of your community, and we're here to work for you. For the love of Chicago, we're here to work for you.
Here's another cool video we wanted to share, this time lapse showing how Studio A went from empty to what you see today over the past 7 months. And here's a live look as we peek back into that Studio A. The same camera mounted high above the studio gives you a very cool perspective of the size and all the technology we're surrounded by now to bring you the news every day. We look forward to sharing more and waving to all the folks who've been coming by today.
Just within the last hour.
Yeah.
It's been great.
It's taken so much time and energy from so many people to get us here, but congratulations to all of them. Yeah, well done.
Yes.
An Illinois congressman is speaking out after protesters showed up outside his North Shore home with bullhorns at 2:30 in the morning.
This building in the suburbs is closing its doors, but here's the issue. It's a college with students in the medical and dental fields.
And this enormous bounce house is coming to a north suburb. Why the fun is meant for more than kids.
Your First Alert Weather Report is sponsored by King Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Now you can get your CBS Chicago news, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.
New here at 6, Illinois Representative Brad Schneider is speaking out after a loud protest outside his Highland Park home. 2 Saturdays ago, pro-Palestinian demonstrators used bullhorns to chant from the street in the middle of the night.
They weren't there to pursue peace or advocate for a better path. They were there to intimidate, to scare, and as in their words, they were there to punish me.
The protesters say they were demanding justice for Gaza. On July 4th, posters showing hostages held in Gaza were torn down outside Schneider's D.C. office. U.S. Capitol Police say they are investigating.
Students who studied at Northwestern College have to find somewhere else to go to school. The college in Oak Lawn abruptly shut down over the weekend. It offered degrees in medicine, dentistry, get their degrees. The city of Chicago is preparing for the Democratic National Convention.
Coming up, how the city's tourism department is preparing to cash in.
Brought to you by National Louis University.
The city's tourism department is gearing up to be on the global stage next month.
The DNC comes on the heels of a number of other even larger events in Chicago. Our Tara Molina explains what exactly sets the DNC apart.
Chicago will see about 50,000 people from across the country and the world for the Democratic National Convention here next month. But I'm told that's not the number that will make the biggest difference for the city. One thing is certain, Chicago shines in the summer.
There's nothing like a summer in the city of Chicago.
And this year, on both national and international stages.
We've had James Beard Awards recently, Sundance last weekend, NASCAR this past weekend.
With the Democratic National Convention just about a month away.
This is going to transform into DNC headquarters.
Rich Gamble leads Choose Chicago, involved in securing the city's winning bid for the DNC.
You'll see lots of red, white, and blue. You'll see lots of DNC information and logos.
Expected to bring about 50,000 visitors to Chicago. That's actually the size of a typical convention here.
Just 3 weeks afterwards, we're going to have the International Manufacturing Technology Show here. That's 100,000+ people.
So I'm told it's a chunk of the 50,000 DNC visitors that really set the convention apart from other events set in the city this year, including concerts and festivals like Sueños and Lollapalooza.
We'll have about 15,000 national and international media. So it is an opportunity to put Chicago on a global stage, and the international interest and national interest and attention. That's what makes the DNC really special.
There are no solid economic impact projections yet, but
previous DNCs have had roughly $150 million economic impact on the whole city. So we're at least expecting that.
I'm told the Democratic National Convention will be one of the most impactful events for Chicago this year, even though we don't have those economic impact projections quite yet. Leading up to the convention, in the story you'll find on our website right now. Reporting outside the United Center, I'm Tara Molina, CBS News, Chicago.
A giant inflatable landscape is moving to Skokie this summer. You're looking at the self-titled world's biggest bounce house. That actually looks pretty cool there. The family-friendly bounce area will be set up in Sports Park on Oakton Street from August 31st through September 15th. And in case you're wondering, Joe or Albert, they will have adult sessions. Okay. Just don't break an arm when you go out there or anything else.
Just an ankle. Look at that. That looks like just hours of fun.
Put Joe in some bubble wrap and we'll head out there this weekend.
Off the walls.
Yeah.
All right, Albert, you're watching a couple of things that are affected to Beryl that we've been watching.
Beryl's been a big story for over a week now. Cat 5 hurricane about a week ago. It made impact along the middle Texas coast. Early this morning is a Category 1 hurricane. It's a tropical storm now, and it's headed this direction. We've got rain on the way. But right now it's quiet over the city as you look live at Grant Park. Here's what we're tracking. Rain chances built in associated with Beryl as we head towards late tomorrow. You'll really feel the impacts Tuesday night to Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday morning where we could even have some heavy downpours that could create some flash flooding concerns to the south and also to the southeast of Chicago. And a preview of the weekend, the heat and the humidity is up. It's going to feel like 100 degrees with the feel-like temperature as we head towards Sunday into Monday. A couple little pop-up showers on the Doppler radar right now. This one's fading away, moving a little bit closer to Plainfield. We have a few downpours, though, at the moment here in northwest Indiana, passing right into Valparaiso, headed into Michigan City. No cloud or ground lightning with that one, and we'll keep a chance for a spot shower for the remainder of the evening. 82 at Gary, 81 right now. Rensselaer, it's in the mid-80s in Chicago and dry. 82 right now in Aurora. But here's the big headline. We've got this national weather story ongoing in the state of Texas. To 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, mainly for areas south of I-80. That's when we'll have a chance for some showers. And then some light rain begins to move into Chicago midday, and then some heavier rain starts to set up in about 24 hours. I think the radar this time tomorrow night still featuring light rain, but we'll start to see the first evidence of some heavier pockets of rain. And then watch tomorrow night, and as we head into the pre-dawn hours of Wednesday, a little bit better chance for some widespread heavy downpours. Overall, the best chance of any kind of flooding rains, those big rainfall totals to the south and southeast of Chicago. Chicago, and that lasts until about 7 or 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Then we'll start to see some drier skies as we head into your Wednesday afternoon. This is one of the more aggressive forecast models, but it's done a really good job on tracking Beryl, even when it made impact in South Texas. We're looking at the potential of 3 to 4 inches of rain here in northwest Indiana and also stretching into portions of the Kankakee River Valley. So you get the idea. The best chance of some multiple inches of rainfall is going to be to the south and southeast of Chicago, and that's where we have that highlighted area for the threat of flash flooding. It's a low-end threat, but we'll keep an eye on it either way. Now, behind that system, we're going to look for just a lingering shower, 84 on Thursday. And then Friday, noticeably much more humid, noticeably hotter as we approach 90 degrees on Friday. We have 90s this weekend with a chance of a thunderstorm. Storms that do develop this weekend could be on the strong side. 92 Sunday, but it's going to feel closer to 100 with the heat index. Same goes a week from today. Eric and Joe, 94 for the high. It'll feel closer to 100 to maybe even 105 in parts of the suburbs. Get ready.
Yeah. All right. Albert, thank you.
We hear from Sky rookie Angel Reese as she continues on her record-setting pace in the WNBA.
And Garrett Crochet is now an all-star for the White Sox, but could his days be numbered on the south side?
Tonight at 10, the new cyber attack targeting iPhone users. It starts as a text message that appears to come from Apple. What the criminals are after and how to protect yourself. That's tonight at 10. All right, so new studio, and Ryan Baker has moved from the mornings back to the chair you once held.
5 years ago, it's like hopping back on my old Schwinn.
Yeah.
Get on the bike and just start pedaling. Let's big league starter Garrett Crochet is now feeling the sweet relief of being the first-time All-Star. Crochet and the White Sox are back on the south side tonight, facing the Twins in their final homestand before the All-Star break. The stout southpaw earned a spot on the American League squad by leading the majors with 146 strikeouts and only 23 walks. With the Sox season-long struggles now sitting 40 games under 500, Crochet is well aware his name is in trade rumors heading to the Midsummer Classic.
Obviously, I pay attention to it. I see it. I hear it all the time. But, you know, I still got to perform, you know. A wise person told me, you know, every time that you take the mound, you're playing for every team in the league. And that's just the fact of the matter. You never know what could happen in this business. But what I just try and focus on is playing for my teammates and playing the game hard.
Yeah, I think all 30 teams want Garrett Crochet, including the Chicago White Sox.
Indeed it is. WNBA All-Star Angel Reese up to a run of double-doubles to now 13 in a row. The rookie standout snagged 14 rebounds along with 17 points in Sunday's quick rematch with the Seattle Storm. But it wasn't enough to keep the Sky from an 84-71 road loss. Still, Reese is humbled by being mentioned in the same breath as legend Candace Parker, who she's already passed in the record book.
She's the GOAT. I mean, I had conversations with her family, her mom. I've talked to them before I even came to Chicago. I try to even just take some things from her game and try to add them to mine.
The Sky, now 18-12, are back home on Wednesday hosting the Atlanta Dream.
Back in Chicago, hopefully with a win and a big crowd.
They're getting better.
And in good company. With
Absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you. And that is it for the CBS 2 News at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Irika Sargent.
And I'm Joe Dolon. Have a great night. We will see you right back here for the CBS News Chicago at 10.